Boy, that opening never gets old. I just wanted to show you something today, guys. I have a new addition to the fleet, and those of you who've been watching my channel for a while may have seen this one coming. But earlier this week, I was on the web once again, and I saw an ad for a Stihl 066. And when I took a look at it, it didn't look like it was 2 beat. So I figured I'd go up and take a look. What happened was, I think I saw the ad on like Monday. The store opened on Tuesday that it was at, and I did get this one at a pawn shop. You know, I've never been to a pawn shop, but this one was very clean, and it was almost like a guy's toy box, because they had all kinds of power equipment there, all kinds of electric hand tools. They had just boxes full of wrenches if you needed an odd-sized wrench. And I gotta say, I have a feeling I should be stopping at pawn shops more just to look for cool things. But I also kind of wonder, like, if my leaf blower ever goes, or a small 2-cycle piece of equipment ever goes, whether I go to a dealer and get a new one, or just go to the pawn shop and buy something, you know, gently used. But I went up there to take a look at this saw, and I wasn't sure I was going to get it or not. But what happened was I looked at the saw, and the saw has clearly been used, but I'm not seeing any major signs of abuse. It's a little bit dirty, you know, but there's, you know, sometimes you'll see them and you can tell they've just been really worked hard. I like to look under here. You can tell by how scratched up this is, and this isn't scratched up that bad. All the plastic on the saw is original. If you look at the plastic, you can see here it says Stihl on it. You know, the guy did, whoever owned it, you know, did touch the muffler with it at some point. But I liked the way the saw looked, you know, and I kept looking at it trying to find something wrong with it, and I couldn't. The only thing I found was it's missing a couple of the grid here, and I went to the dealer, and to get this part again, a Stihl part, is $119. So I think we're going to call that an inspection hole and let it be for now. But I looked at it, and I didn't see anything glaringly obvious of abuse. You know, even the handle, sometimes you'll see them where the handles have been really, really chewed up. And the handle, you know, it's got normal use on it, but it doesn't look that bad. So I asked the lady who was at the pawn shop if I could run it, and she was like, "Yeah, go ahead, take it outside and run it," which again was my first time going to a pawn shop, but I thought that was pretty cool. So this one does have the compression release button there. So I pushed the button in, choked it, pulled the starter rope 3 times. On the 3rd time, it coughed, put the choke lever down, put the compression lever back in, and maybe it took another 3 or 4 pulls, and it started up, and then it kind of stalled out, probably because it hadn't been run for a while. And then it took me like another 2 or 3 pulls to get it going. And I didn't gun it forever, but I gunned it and held it on throttle. It sounded smooth. Once it got warmed up, it didn't stall out. So I was still, you know, I was very nervous. This saw was over $500. I was very nervous about putting that much money into a saw that could have a problem, but I didn't really see any problems with the saw. So I decided to purchase it. So this is my new Stihl 066. And what I'm going to be doing, and one thing I want to do is, and I didn't do this at the shop, and I don't know, I could have asked, but, you know, the other day I was, see if we can do this. You know, the reason it's all in pieces is because the biggest test I wanted to do was to look and see how the cylinder walls looked. And, you know, I don't know if I can get in there or not for you, but if you look in there, I'll get a shot of that later, but if you look in there, there's no scoring on that cylinder walls. It's nice and shiny. And my biggest fear was I was going to get home and take a look and I was going to see just this really horrible cylinder walls, but they look good. The piston, you can still see the lines on the piston. So I'm feeling pretty good about this saw. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to clean it all off. I'm going to get my blowgun and clean it all off. And then there's a guy called Donny Boy who does videos on small engine repair. He'll take old gas and use that as a solvent to loosen up all this junk. So I'll clean it all up as best as I can. I've already ordered a new air filter, a spark plug, a fuel pickup tube, and then I think I'm going to just go ahead and get a new carb gaskets, and maybe I ordered a new fuel filter, but I'm going to order the fuel pickup tube, so the whole fuel system is going to be good to go. And then after that, I'll just tune it, and hopefully we'll be good to go. But this is my saw, and you know, I cut a few logs with it when I got back. You know, the other thing about this is it's got a plastic flywheel, which I assume is a weight thing, but it's just kind of surprising to see a plastic flywheel on a Stihl saw. But I'll clean it up, change all the maintenance stuff, sharpen the bar, you know, and we'll have basically a brand new 066, gently used 066. And as I was saying, I cut with it, and with the 25-inch bar buried, I mean, it didn't lug at all. I was reading about this saw, and this saw could take up to a 42-inch bar. So this is going to become my milling saw and my large log saw. And with this saw, you know, if I ever decide I want to get a Granberg mill, I think I could pull it off with this saw. I'd stick with a pitch, 0.375 pitch. You measure between the 3 rivets, and it's 0.375. The longest bar you can get is 36 inches at 0.375. But I've seen some bars, maybe I'd get like a 32-inch bar and get the Granberg mill for that. And then if I'm using my logosol mill, put the 20-inch bar on this guy, and it won't even skip a beat with a 20-inch bar. You know, or if I got something bigger, I can leave this 25 on and get a ripping chain for it when I want to do some milling. And then as far as the saw goes, you know, I did a little bit of research. So apparently the 066s, there were covers that had a flat top. It's called an 066 flat top. And this one, if you take a look at the cover, it's got a little bit of a hump to it. So this is a round top, they call it. So this would have been the later model, and after this they would have gone to the MS660. And one thing I noticed is, you know, I went online to some chainsaw forums, and this model, the orange, I don't know if Stihl changed the way they're making their plastic for this model, but the orange, it looks faded. And I've seen other ones. I thought maybe something was wrong, but the plastic for this model, it's like a darker orange. It's not as shiny of an orange as the other ones. I don't know what they did, but the model before this would have had a flat top, and then there was an 066 before that, which they call a red light, which if you look at your carb screws over here, they actually had a red light there, which somehow helped. I assume it was to set your high throttle, but the light would let you know when you were at a certain range or something. So this would have been the last in the 066 series. And I guess it could have had a heated handlebars too. But again, I mean, this cover it's original. It's not aftermarket. It's got a Stihl on it. Everything's still got a Stihl on it. And it just doesn't look beat. It looks like somebody forgot to clean it for a while. But if you are a a chainsaw fanatic and you know anything about this saw, please feel free to comment below. And hopefully in a little while we'll put up some videos of milling with a Stihl 066. And I did look up the specs. So this saw has a power output of 5 kilowatts. I couldn't find the American translation. I'm not really sure how to translate kilowatts to horsepower. I know inches to centimeters 2.54, but so this is 5 kilowatts. The MS661, the latest and greatest Stihl saw, is 5.4 kilowatts. So yeah, I'm 0.4 kilowatts less, but I'm really looking forward to cleaning it up, and kind of as I clean it up and fix things, it's going to become my own. Hopefully I'll run a compression test later, make sure we got good compression. I really don't see that as being an issue. And then I look forward to making some milling videos or just getting a big bar. And I got some white oak that's around 36-40 inches in diameter in the backyard I need to cut, and this guy will go through that like a hot knife through butter. So there is the newest and latest and greatest toy for CT Scaper. Have a great day, guys.